Seraphim 17 once again. This is my Bioshock hard difficulty. Oh, no. Survivor difficulty, sorry. Brass balls video walkthrough. This is Hephaestus. This is a 2-part sequence of missions. And because we're on the home stretch of Bioshock now, you pretty much know how to play. You've got an idea of what's expected of you. You've got an idea of what you need to do. And we have all the tools in our arsenal to get this done. So for a little bit of a diversity and a little bit of spice to the project, through popular demand and just a long time coming, I have my girlfriend with me.
Hello.
So we're going to do a dual commentary on this video, and if you're here listening for the purposes of strategy, you're probably not going to get too much of it, guys. It's just going to be more telekinesis, more headshots with the crossbow, more using what we've got, more building upon the ideas of what we've been doing. And instead we're going to be talking about some random projects, random subjects, random everything basically. So keep your research camera handy and enjoy the ride, hopefully.
So the first one of conversationstarters.com is, if you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do?
Ooh. That's a very broad topic.
I'm assuming maybe it means for like work.
For work?
Yeah. Are you doing what you'd want to do?
You couldn't fail.
Yeah.
Who's like the most rich person ever? Is it
They're
an
like
inventor?
those,
Or is it
no, those like
a
oil
sultan,
sheiks.
oil sheik? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I would probably be born in a place where there's lots of oil, so I could just be like, yo dog, I've got a harem, I've got questionable balloon pants, I'll do this. Does that count?
A harem?
Yeah. You know.
Questioning that bit right out there.
I've got several or 8 wives. They're all good cookers, they all do something different.
I like how when the question is if you couldn't fail and your answer is lots of wives and all of the money.
Yeah. I don't know if you... To me, failure, it doesn't mean the same to me that it means for a lot of people. Because I'm a failure, so I kind of... it doesn't hold the same weight. I don't look at things as if I fail. I look at things more as, you're like...
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, like if I can...
And you'd enjoy being really rich with lots of wives?
I would, yeah. Well, maybe not all the wives, but if you're going to be, when in Dubai...
I suppose.
You know, do Dubai.
I knew I couldn't fail. I would be an actor.
So you change gender.
Gender neutral now. Such a dick.
Okay.
Yeah.
An actor.
And then be really rich and be one of your wives.
Oh, there you go. What would your specialty be? What would you be typecast as in your acting role?
I don't want to be typecast as anything.
Yeah, but before you got your bigger breaks, you became a Jason Statham of action films, or you,
yeah,
or you in...
Me running around all the
I'm just saying, like,
set is how we picture this going.
Look at people like Matthew McConaughey, who was in a bunch of those kind of lovey-dovey movies,
Yeah.
and then he didn't want that to
I don't
be
know,
him,
'cause I
so
feel
he
like
broke
that's-
away from them.
I feel like it's not as apparent anymore.
Well, it's not, is it? Because he never does those films. He's
No,
like,
not
does all
for him,
crazy
but I
stuff.
mean in general for actors.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
What about that dude
Unless
who's
it's
called
like-
Hector in everything?
Well, yeah.
Yo, Holmes, I'm Hector.
No, but if you think, kind of, I suppose. I think the typecast stuff now that's more apparent is being typecast as like non-typecast characters. When you think of like Jennifer Lawrence and that kind of...
Yeah, but she always plays a strong woman. She
Yeah.
never not plays
I'd wanna do
somebody who
that.
sucks.
I'd be kick-ass.
Would you not want to be vulnerable? And
She's vulnerable.
she's not vulnerable.
She is in that
She's
one where she cries all
barely
the time.
ever vulnerable.
With thingy.
Even in the Silver Book
That
playbook,
one.
she's totally not vulnerable because she's really
Badass.
aggressive and assertive. Like, don't
I
come
kind of
off.
like that though.
Yeah, but not every film. Like, you don't want John Wayne again.
No.
I'm just here to be John Wayne. Every
Well, I wouldn't mind
fucking
because I
film.
wouldn't be failing. I'd be successful. So.
Okay, I'm not saying you're failing. I'm just diversity in roles.
I was supportive of your 8
Look,
wives.
keep
You're
it
just
Sutherland.
shitting on all of my
Keep
dreams.
Sutherland, man. Serial killer in one, creepy scientist in another, super good person in another. You know, he's got problems, alcohol, fighting, but he diverses it, you know? Diversification.
Okay. Next question.
Next question.
Much easier. Would you rather have to sit all day or stand all day?
Sit.
Sit every time.
Yeah.
I've done jobs where I've stood all day and I fucking hated it.
I'm just gonna perk up here on the game.
Ooh.
The thing that I do wrong in this particular section, ladies and gentlemen, is I do not go to the mission objective immediately because I like to explore, because I do think it pays dividends in Bioshock. But this is one of the few spots in the game where if you go to the mission objective first, you'll be able to do the fetch quest that they're giving you by passively exploring. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look around the area, I'm going to kill some big daddies, I'm going to take on some people, but I'm going to end up shooting myself in the foot because when I come to the objective, it wants me to pick up a bunch of superfluous stuff again, which means I've kind of wasted my time. So if you want to do the whole two birds, one stone thing, go to the objective first and then do the exploration that I'm doing. But sorry, my lovely, back to you.
Oh, why have they got a weird hand? I was just trying to copy it.
Basically, in Rapture, there are these pieces of technology that alter your body and they give you certain abilities. So at the moment, I'm using a telekinesis plasmid, which enables me to use telekinesis. So to convey to the player that he's a whole telekinesis-y guy, he does one of those crazy kung fu palm hands, and that's why you can see him with his weird fingers like that. But it comes at a price. You have to
have a weird hand.
You have to get Adam from weird alien baby girls.
Oh.
So there's a whole moral
Creepy side of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Next question. I don't know how we feel about answering this. What's your family like?
I think my family was great. I can't really complain. I think everybody's got, you know, the crazier ones, the reckless ones, the arsehole ones no one talks to and doesn't want to show up at social functions. And then you have the really supportive ones, slightly zealous ones. I can't say a bad word about my family until they do something bad, and then I say something.
Yeah.
So,
I like my family. I'm very close to my family.
yeah, I think we're fortunate in that.
If you could start any business, what would it be?
Any business? Wow.
See, I know mine. I'd start a vintage clothing company.
Well, that's easy then. What would you sell? Just vintage clothes, or
Yeah. Well, vintage or vintage, like, reproduction designs.
would it be for both sexes, or would you be focused at the ladies?
Probably focused on it.
I don't think I've seen many vintage men clothes.
No, it's weird because they're easier to come by technically.
There's more old men's cupboards who don't throw shit away.
Yeah, but there's like it's easier to maintain the integrity of like a vintage shirt than it is like a silk 1930s dress that will fall apart if you touch it. So like there's more in terms of that, but I'm just not really interested in it.
It's that selfish gene coming out there. So one of those. There's a few things I've wanted to do in my storied life that I haven't done. All kinds of weird, like, momentary things that I thought I'd do. Like, when I was younger, because of speed, I wanted to be a bomb disfusal guy, because I thought it looked cool, knowing what all the bits were.
Yeah, we've discussed this recently, haven't we? Like,
Yeah.
It's not a job out.
But the thing that I didn't realise is I looked at that bomb as if every part of it made sense, when in effect it was just a prop that some dude had stuck a bunch of fancy looking shit on, so it probably didn't even look like a bomb. So I was trying to understand something that was just a prop guy's, you know, pet project. So it wasn't a very good strategy. But there's been a few things that I've wanted to do. I've wanted to be in a band. I wanted to be a designer for the longest time because I wanted to do album covers.
I thought you'd go that way.
And I was really, really into that in college when I was doing design. But like when I was younger, I wanted to be an actor for the longest time, and then kind of left that behind. But there's tons of weird things, but business-wise, I don't know. There's no money in those things until you do them to a certain level.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If I was not gonna do that, I'd want to do like, I'd like makeup artistry, but kind of special effects and film stuff.
Yeah.
I've even looked at courses for it, but it's so expensive to do, and then you start in right at the bottom, and I feel like I'd be starting too late to do it.
Yeah.
To get anywhere where we're earning the kind of money we
Well,
want
that's
to
the
be
problem,
earning.
innit? Like, I would love to teach game design, teach game philosophy, but once again, it's just your standard wage, isn't it? That it's not really a business thing, and you'd have to go through all the bloody teaching aspects of it, which takes forever and costs a lot of money, and then it's one of those kind of courses that's there for 1 year and gone next year because it's all dictated by the turnaround, and not everybody wants somebody to talk about why something is a certain way in those video games.
Let's see.
Even though there's that new program on Dave, where there's a bunch of comedians and everybody talking about games, and everyone seems to be getting into it, which is nice to see. Well, we've got an elite bouncer coming up while you look for that, and I've already showed the way to kill this dude, but it's always kind of hairy. What I'm going to showcase in this video, and I might have already shown it, is I'm going to show a strategy that involves stun locking him with the electric gel. It does decent damage and it keeps him almost immobilized, but it's almost impossible on Survivor to have enough electric gel, I think, to kill him in one cycle. So you're never going to get the perfect opportunity, but if you can kill him, you'll get the little sister and you'll get the Adam from her. So it's always best to do so if you need any abilities or if there's anything that you want. And the game will indeed warn you at the end of the game that you didn't harvest all the sisters because it doesn't think that you've got the ability to beat the end for some reason, so it makes you kind of paranoid. Don't worry about that. It warned me, telling me that I didn't have enough Adam harvested, and then in the end it was simple because the last boss is a bitch.
Ready?
Yep.
This is a weird one. Are you smarter than your parents?
Ooh. You see, you know why this is weird?
Mm.
Because everybody thinks they're smarter than everybody else.
But in reality, like I think I'm somewhat smarter than my parents in different ways. I'm more academic.
You're more
than
academic.
both my parents.
They have more life experience, more skills, more.
But then I think about it on like a very simple level. Like if we're watching a quiz program, we'll get an average of the same amount right.
They will get perhaps the things that's before your time.
Yeah, like the things that were real life to them in like the 70s and 80s that is just like, especially weird political knowledge that I wasn't there to remember. My dad has more historical knowledge because so yeah, I think I've got a more broad depth of general knowledge, but more so because of my mum and dad, because we like did stuff and went to museums and the things that they're interested in.
Well, they were very supportive of your reading, weren't they?
Yeah.
And encouraging of that, so you got a good start with that. With my parents, they're specialists at certain things, and there's certain things that if you haven't come across it in life, you haven't learnt it. Like stupid shit, screwdrivers. I didn't know the name difference between each type of screwdriver, so I was asking for one that had the crosshead, and I didn't realise that that's called a posi driver. Just it had never applied to me because I've never used screwdrivers that much, and when I have, I've just kind of grabbed the flathead one and fucked about with that. So when I was asking for the screwdriver, my mum was like, "Do you want a posi driver?" And I'm like, "Mum, I don't know what that is." Yet I could say superfluous or effervescent to my mum, and she would have no idea what that means because it's just different types of knowledge. It's different types of information that you've come across. You know. As same with my dad. My dad's got a lot of that kind of worldly smarts, and I always look up to him because I did when you were a kid. When you asked, "What does this mean, Dad? What does this mean, Dad?" Because your dad knew everything, and that's how you're raised, kind of thing. It's that tautological aspect of authority, and he does know a ton of stuff, but there's also a ton of stuff that I know that he probably don't.
I think.
Or doesn't.
Yeah, I think as well. For both our sets of parents, if we were to ask my mum and dad if they thought I was smarter than them, and if we were to ask your mum and dad if you were smarter than them, they'd both say yes.
Probably say yeah, that we were smarter. Because I think that's what you do, isn't it? You raise your kids to be better than you, and when you see a positive result, I think there's a lot of pride in that.
Yeah.
But who would be the first person you would go to if you had a question, or if you had a query of something? It's always your mum and dad.
I don't know, it depends. I'd ask you first, I think.
What do you think?
It depends. If it's something that I thought you would know, then yeah.
But if I lifted up the bonnet of a car, I wouldn't ask you. Like,
no.
You know what I mean? Like, my dad can fix shit. I can't fix shit.
Yeah.
I try, and I'll have a look, but my dad is a fixer of things, and that's one of those things you learn over time, I think, by experience, and I am not there. I can put a shelf up, I can do a plug, I've got a few manly parts to me, but I'm still evolving. I still need to focus on getting my man card.
I wonder what it is though, because like my sister and her boyfriend living together, I know there's certain things that even my sister will still phone my dad to come and do.
Yeah.
like Ryan doesn't. So it makes
But
me
it's
think...
the thing though, isn't it? Do you think that's because he can't do it, or he hasn't been able to try, or been asked to try? Because I would like to think that we would try first, fuck up, and then get the man in to do the man job.
Yeah.
Because I want to learn how to do that stupid shit.
Yeah.
You know, I want to spend 6 hours putting up an IKEA set of drawers that should have took 30 minutes, but I missed a screw somewhere. Because you need to learn to do that.
Well, to be fair, they did that. Ryan, I think, used like 6 tools, and it took him 4 hours to put up one bedside table, and Olivia did it in 15 minutes with one screwdriver.
Well, there you go. Like, not everyone's going to be gifted at that stuff. You know, when I did woodwork at school, I weren't a woodwork guy. I must have sanded the same piece of wood for 6 weeks because I didn't want to fuck about with the sharp stuff.
I bet it was really smooth though.
It was. Like, we did those lessons to talk about games. We didn't go there to make shit. I didn't want a candlestick. It involved using Bunsen burner flames and shit.
Isn't it crazy if that lesson would have been like an in-depth IT thing where you were designing games or you were doing stuff to do with
We
things?
couldn't take IT
No,
when I was at school.
how good could you have been though at that age? Like, because you were so interested in it. That's what annoys me about it.
All we did was talk about games and shit, and they wanted
and it's seen as stupid
to smack a piece of steel after you'd heated it up, and I didn't want to get my hands burnt.
Oh.
And don't get me wrong, I like smacking steel, but there were all this unsupervised stuff, and I was just like, I'm not confident in doing
You're a nervous
this.
person, aren't you? With things that can injure you.
The first 4 people burnt themselves. 2 of them went to hospital. It's like, I'm going to fucking do this lesson. This will be great. Like, I don't go towards danger. I have a very healthy respect for my form. I'm a pretty guy. I don't want to be scarring this. I could have been a model, damn it. No, but suffice to say, everybody had that lesson, didn't they? A technology at school that you didn't enjoy. Doesn't matter what it was. Like, I hated doing clay in art.
I hated doing plastic because the entire classroom was filled with the sound of people sanding plastic, and there's nothing worse than that awful like squeak, and it happened all the time, and I was sat like rocking in a corner, just like, oh, this sounds horrendous. Why am I here? Why can't I be cooking stuff? I'm good at cooking.
Yeah, I don't like getting my hands dirty. Get your hands stuck in! Use the clay! Like, are you fucking kidding me? Not only that, I've got really warm hands, so not only do I not like them getting dirty, but it dries the clay out quicker, so it's harder for me to make things with clay. That's why I'll never be an artiste.
Okay.
True story.
This is a nice one. What accomplishment are you most proud of?
That's tricky. I don't know if I'm proud of anything I've done.
See, I'm going to be nice. I have 2. 1, my degree. I worked really hard to get a first class degree, and I'm really proud of that. Yeah. And 2, I'm really proud of our relationship.
Oh. Now I've got to say one other last.
Don't feel pressure. No.
Okay. Do you care to elaborate?
Well, I think the degree is evident, but our relationship, it's something I'm proud of, because I think people have said to me previously that it's like, I've had people not want to take my advice on relationships because our relationship is so easy.
Yeah, but that don't mean it's bad advice.
I know, well that was my argument. Like, if you think a nearly 10-year relationship has always been easy, then that's probably where you're going wrong.
Yeah.
So
nothing that you can achieve over 10 years is going to be easy.
Like, there's nothing else in my life that, other than staying alive, that I've put 10 years worth of effort into. So I'm proud of us.
That's good. I'm not so proud of my degree, mainly because my degree is in something stupid that doesn't get the respect it potentially deserves. But at the same time, I did put a lot of work into it, so there is pride there. I'm obviously proud of us, but I wouldn't look at it as that because it's like a work in progress, so I take pride when the job's done, kind of thing.
When we're dead.
Exactly, there you go. I don't know what I take pride in. I took a lot of pleasure in finishing my book. Just knowing that I'd finished it was a great feeling. But I've still yet to achieve my my victory moment in time, hopefully. I'm proud of many little things, but nothing of the whole.
Yeah.
I'm not as good as you, my lovely. You too. Definitive with your answers.
Okay, if you could acquire any skill, what would it be?
I'd learn to fly. Breathe underwater, that's a good one.
I think it means a skill that you could feasibly have as a human being.
Okay. I think languages is underrated.
That was
I think being polyglottal and all that is pretty. It's like fucking magic.
That would be my answer as well. I'd be fluent in other languages, which is annoying because it's such an achievable skill. People are just like, we're lazy.
Well, it's discipline, isn't it? It takes a lot of discipline and it takes a lot of dedication. Learning a language is difficult. It gets easier though because they share a lot of the same traits, don't they? So once you've got 2, getting 3 is not as bad, and getting 4 is not as bad. Then you learn something ridiculously tough, and then that's a bit tougher maybe. But I don't. What would be another skill that would really benefit you if languages wasn't a choice?
I would learn to sew.
So
Be able to make my own clothes, yeah. I'm like an odd shape for modern clothing. So to be able to at least, whether it would make my own clothes or be able to fit high street stuff.
can't your mum sew?
She can, but the sewing machine in our house is like tucked away in the corner of the attic, so it's hard to get to. She could probably teach me.
That is very achievable.
Yeah. There's tons of places that do like simple lessons and beginners.
Well, you could get tutorials on internet. Yeah. Do one of those every week, and before you know it, you're sewing like a nutcase. I don't think that'd be too difficult to achieve.
Is there anything that you'd pick?
I would like to probably do something like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because I think it's really interesting, it's really physical, and it's one of those disciplines that you never truly master, so you can do it for a very long time. But our issue is of course, it's not as big as it is in America over here, so it's much rarer to find a place that does it, and then there's the cost of doing it, getting to it, all that kind of thing, and then the whole getting sweaty and hugging men aspect.
And potentially getting hurt. I won't like that bit.
Well, I won't get hurt because I would tap. But you do, unfortunately. You pull things and you hurt things and things like that. But I'm incredibly flexible for how long I am, which means I would have an incredible advantage in things like rubber guard and butterfly guard and stuff like that. I have a knowledge of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because I've watched a lot of MMA, and it's just one of those things that I've always been kind of fascinated with. It probably comes from the days when we used to wrestle and do submissions that we always wondered, how the fuck does this even hurt somebody? And then you realise it doesn't. They're giant ballerinas doing a dangerous job, but of course a very scripted dangerous job.
How long's this video? How much longer do we have?
This is a 29-minute long video, so we've got a few minutes left as I'm killing splicers in the engine room.
Relatively easy one. What are 3 websites that you visit every day?
3 websites I visit every day. YouTube is one of them, of course. Twitter is another one. And probably something game-related. Like a game news site. I go on Game Informer a lot, even though it kind of annoys me. How about yourself?
It depends how I mean, because maybe not a web. I don't necessarily go on websites every day.
Oh, do you not?
No. So I'd maybe like Facebook. I go on the app. Does that count?
Well, of course it does, because the app just shortcuts to website, doesn't it?
So then,
I don't go on the app because I don't have anything with apps.
Facebook, Google, I suppose. I Google stuff a lot.
Yeah.
And
because when you say apps to me, I think of app data, I think roaming, I think common, I think I must delete these files because they're logging my computer down.
And maybe that's it. Facebook. Or Instagram, I suppose, but that's not really a website. So.
How is that not a website? Instagram.com. It's a website.
Well, it is, but I think it started as an app.
Yeah, but it's still a site that it links to, isn't it? Isn't that what apps are?
Yeah.
Because an app would be something, if it wasn't the internet, couldn't you feasibly access it without a connection to the internet if it wasn't the internet?
That's true.
So I think it's definitely a website, it's just those apps get you there.
Yeah, so Google, Facebook and Instagram.
They save you typing shit, don't they? They're instead of www. You press that and it puts you there. So Instagram for you, Google.
Oh, lost in my punch. Right.
Something else.
See.
Torrents are frequented, pornography is frequented, you know, the usual.
Oh, I've skipped one then. I don't
Lots
know.
of news.
That one's a tough one. We've only got like 4 minutes.
Well, it might be a good...
Do you believe in the afterlife?
No. See? Dead easy. There you go. Bertrand Russell. I know that when I die, I will rot and nothing of my ego will remain. Easiest answer we've ever given.
You've got an entire YouTube page dedicated to your ego. I think we're fine for a while.
What are you talking about?
Your ego in games.
My ego in games.
I don't necessarily believe in a heaven or hell as is described by typical religious sects. But I like to think that there's
No
something...
allegorical flame or allegorical cloudland.
Yeah, I'd like to think there's something afterwards.
Do you think you're going to come back as the shrew?
I'm totally going to haunt you.
Why are you going to die first?
That's true, you're definitely going to die first.
I'm less healthy, I'm older.
Um,
I'm less fortunate.
that's true.
If you're dying, I'm screwed.
No, I like to think there's something, but... Because as much as I agree in the whole... it's unlikely. The whole idea of energy not being killed or created intrigues me.
Are you a believer of those who think for each death there's a life? So for every person who dies, there's a child is born, kind of thing.
Well, no, because then the amount of humans on the earth would never increase or decrease. It would stay the same. So
Stagnation.
Maybe in kind of like a if it makes you feel better kind of way, then I suppose I'm happy to.
Yeah, but you know, if it makes you feel better and you're actively going against something that is actually hurting something, is that?
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of beliefs that make people feel better. The Nazis in World War II probably felt a little better killing Jews, thinking that they were doing it for a morally good reason, when if they really thought about it, maybe they were just people. So are you one of those people who advocates things that perhaps shouldn't happen?
Big believer in the Holocaust.
There you go.
Totally for it. No.
We're talking about Holocaust never happened. We all know this.
No,
There's no mass graves.
if it's not hurting anybody, then I think feeling like there's life after death, then there's it.
What if it's hindering children's education because they want you to teach something different in science?
That's pointless.
Oh, well.
But then science teaches us that energy can't be killed or created, so what happens to humans? And
What about dark energy?
I'm not that sciencey. I just remember being taught that by my science teacher, that energy can't be created or killed. So
Yeah, there's a...
I don't think I don't believe in souls and stuff like that.
You don't believe in souls? But Miyazaki-san? Praise the sun?
I don't know what's happening right now.
There's an entire ocean of people being like, oh my god, she doesn't like Dark Souls. No. You don't believe in souls?
Not
What is
really.
a soul, though? People think soul is
A
a thing
human-
lingering behind your eyes.
Energy, I suppose.
So it's not like
Then maybe I
Casper,
do
like
believe in it.
little
I don't really
ghosts.
know.
Not getting much thought, have you?
No.
Been reckless, just reckless, firing from the hip.
I hope there's something after death.
What if it's really boring?
But then equally, maybe that's why life has meaning, because there isn't anything after death. So I think either way, I'm quite comforted. So I'm happy.
You don't lose sleep.
No.
I don't lose sleep. But it's an interesting question, because everybody has a different answer for things like that. You know, what happened last night when you fell asleep?
I don't know.
Exactly. It's the same state you were before you came, isn't it? Before your mum conceived you. It's the same state you probably go into when you do die. So
Right.
even if there is nothing, you won't know, because you're not there to know. And if you were to be reborn, or be birthed again, or be recreated,
I don't know if I want to go
when
through the
you
young
wake
age.
up,
Yeah.
it'll be like a blink between closing your eyes when you died to waking up. Because that's how your brain does it. It doesn't tell you about the interim period, does it? It's just like, oh, we're back again. How weird would that be? Buck Rogers, son. Buck Rogers.